Hello and good morning everybody. Today we are not in such good weather as last time, but unfortunately we also woke up to not such a nice tweet this morning right around midnight European time from Elon Musk, who said that Tesla is stopping to accept Bitcoin payments for their cars over environmental concern because he figured that for Bitcoin mining and the transaction handling, there is an increasing use of fossil fuels and he doesn't want to support that. However, Tesla will not sell any more of their Bitcoin, so they are still holding and they are also not planning on selling them. And Elon didn't really talk about his own position because I think 2 weeks ago we figured that Elon has bought Bitcoin on his own, for his own, not just for his companies. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. When Tesla accepted Bitcoin as a payment method, I don't know, 2 months ago, we all thought, or at least I did, they understand that they got it because they didn't only accept Bitcoin and then transferred it back to cash immediately or to fiat immediately internally. No, they were keeping the actual Bitcoins also, which still is, or now was, really rare for companies to do. They were all directly converting Bitcoin straight to fiat when accepting it. And I think it's important to understand that the move to accept Bitcoin as a payment method for their cars was nothing more than a marketing stunt, because we don't have any percentages on that, but I don't think that more than 0.1% of Tesla vehicle purchases might be done via Bitcoin transactions. And to now back row and say that they're going to stop that now, I kind of wonder, because I think one would have thought that those concerns have been in the open wide. They were voiced for months and for years probably, these environmental concerns, and one would have thought that they would have made up their mind before accepting Bitcoin as a payment and before also actually buying Bitcoin for their balance sheet. And that's where it gets tricky, because I think obviously they did. I think they didn't just buy Bitcoin out of a funny idea thing. I think there must have went some thought into it. As with all major decisions, especially in financial terms, that corporations and big corporations, Tesla is one of the biggest corporations in the world, are doing. And so I think there might be something else at play here, because as I said, this Tesla vehicle purchase program with accepting Bitcoin as a payment method is really negligible. It really wasn't a big thing. The big thing was taking Bitcoin on their balance sheet and using it to protect themselves against inflation and all kinds of fiat manipulations that are possibly taking place. So I really think there is something in the bush here. And then Elon also said that they were looking for crypto alternatives as well, without selling any Bitcoin, that have a better environmental record, or that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's mining energy. So I suddenly think, or I suddenly asked myself if they really understood how all of this works, because of course there is proof of stake as another kind of algorithm to control the routing rights in the network, which Ethereum is switching to, and that, contrarily to proof of work that Bitcoin is using, consumes a lot less energy, but it has its own flaws, because there, all the people, or the people who have the majority of the stake, have the most power. And that's also, I don't want to call it anti-democratic, but it has its own flaws, and I think people would be on the roofs if that was the case with Bitcoin. And that's why I'm not talking against Ethereum here, but that's also why, in my point of view, you can't really compare Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I don't think they even want to be compared, because Ethereum is more kind of a true technology and a technology platform for all the DeFi things and these applications, and not a store of value, as the case with Bitcoin. So, and I don't want to talk too much about these environmental concerns overall, because I'm not a true expert on this. I think there's studies and research for both sides, supporting that Bitcoin is actually good, or might be good for the environment, at least long term. But there are also papers that say, and that Elon Musk must be quoting, that say that, or that they come to the conclusion that Bitcoin uses coal, or 80% of coal, to do their mining operations. And okay, just my quick view on this topic. As I said, I'm no electrician and no energy expert, but I know that many papers say, and many research quote, that solar and wind, so renewable energy, is actually the cheapest form of energy today. It's the cheapest way you can produce or generate more electricity. And when you are mining, you obviously own energy, and electricity is your primary and by far primary cost. So you want to get this cost down to as far as you can, so that would incentivize you to go for sustainable energy, because that's the cheapest energy, right? And then, so that's probably the main argument. Then another argument is that a lot of energy isn't really used today 24/7, because there always has to be a surplus percentage in the electricity network to make sure that any quick spikes in electricity consumptions are met. And while this surplus isn't really used for anything, it can be used for Bitcoin mining, because they can just be switched off anytime. And so many of these miners therefore have deals with electricity manufacturers that allow them to just switch off the mining operation as soon as this surplus energy is actually needed in the network. And then, of course, there's a more philosophical and longer term argument that Bitcoin as a deflationary currency supports wise spending, and in that it disincentivizes overwhelmed consumption. Because imagine if you had one Bitcoin today, and you would face the decision if you're gonna buy this new TV or not. You're gonna stick with the old one, or buy a new one that is fancier, that is larger, that is has some smart features. So and we would live on a Bitcoin standard. Then your TV would cost your price, and let's say was 0.1 Bitcoin. Now, wouldn't you maybe be incentivized, or then also actually wait with your purchase and say, okay, I can actually use, let's just use my current TV for a little bit longer because it's still working and I don't really need it, it's not really necessary, won't really change my life. And in return, you wait and the value of Bitcoin increases in terms of relation to the goods, because it's deflationary, you know. And this is the train of thought that kind of, or would be a viable thought, to say that Bitcoin actually isn't only just good for sustainable energy, but also for this overly consumptionist lifestyle many societies are promoting or just living today. And with that, I want to wrap it up. I hope it's not too much of a downer for you. I saw that I think nearly all of the top 50 coin market cap coins are down heavily, like 10% plus in just a few hours. Don't let that bother you too much. I still hope you have a nice day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.